I tell you, I saw East Steve's at the ATM on base on like last Saturday.
I see East Steve's all the time.
Oh, he's
Dude,
like,
did
"Hey."
I was telling
took a photo
this
with him.
East Steve story, but yesterday, I don't know if you were listening, but so R9 is right next to the fire station, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, they come in through the gate that's right next to the fire station. That's how people walk to work. And you come in that gate, and you walk through the fire station right to R9. The firemen, they don't like it that we walk through their fire station. They don't like it. They get very butthurt. So one day I'm going to work as usual, and I walk up to the fire station, and they have blocked it off with like orange netting, like construction netting. They blocked it off, and I'm like, oh man, they blocked it off. So I turn around, and like I see Montoya and like some other guys from like 31 Fox and Delta. And I'm like, hey guys, they blocked that path with the orange netting, and like they were all like, oh okay. And then we all, as a group together, we start to walk around the fire station the long way, right? And we're walking, and we're just like, we're bullshitting. We're like, I can't believe they fucking did that. Like, it's at a fucking open base. It's like an open parking lot. How can they do that? They're just butthurt. And we're just complaining, and we're walking past, and we see East Steve's like coming through the turnstile, and we figured, oh, dude, he's gonna have to turn around and like walk back the way that we're walking because it's blocked off. He doesn't. He doesn't.
Steamrolls
Dude.
right through it.
He fucking like he goes into the fire station area, and he walks along the orange netting. He walks along, and then the part where it ends, he comes back in and he walks through the fire station. And like those firemen, they're having quarters outside, and they're all there, and they're all watching East Steve's blatantly disrespect the boundary that they put up.
Yes.
And they're just looking at him. And by the way, East Steve's, he's not malicious. He's just oblivious, right? And he just walks through like it's just a normal fucking day. And we're watching this happen, and we're like, oh my God, they hate him right now. And they're looking at him with fucking daggers. And that's just East Steve's. He's clueless, and he has no sense of social cues whatsoever.
Personally,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do to me if that I'm walking here? Like, where's the rules saying I can't?
There's no rules.
There's
They just
no.
don't like it.
So they can fuck themselves.
This is true.
They can 100 be watching. I know you're firefighters, but really, what do you do? You're on base, regardless. You can go fuck yourself. 1,000,000%. I'll walk all up and down that thing.
You heard it here first. Firefighters, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, especially if you're doing quarters. What fires are you fighting that you need to? One person can't walk over the fucking asphalt.
Yeah.
Kill yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the Steve story.
Anakin, your podcast skills are great, but does not make you a master.
It's still canon to me, goddammit.
Stay tuned for Burnaflick.
And we're back. We watched Star Wars Clone Wars miniseries that debuted on Cartoon Network back
Not to be confused
with the Clone Wars.
with the Dave Filoni Clone Wars. By the way, they really tucked this Clone Wars away in the fucking Disney. I had to like really like comb through the Disney catalog to actually find this one because I kind of feel like
It was literally all the way at the bottom.
yeah,
Quite literally.
yeah. Because there's that first like rolling tab, and I just kept going through, and it wasn't there, and I had to go down, and it's not even called Legends anymore. What's it called?
It's vintage.
Vintage, yeah, vintage. They just keep relegating it to the past even more and more.
Retcon.
When
I know.
Erase.
Before I realized it was a Cartoon Network original,
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, am I watching the Venture Brothers right now? I thought I was watching the entire first part. I thought I was watching an entire episode of Samurai Jack.
It's the same dude.
Yeah.
It's the same as Hanna-Barbera, I think.
It's Genndy Tartakovsky.
Tartakovsky.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So, like, yeah, the guy behind, like, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack,
Yep.
and Primal, which is on HBO Max.
And I love how like in Samurai Jack and this, there's dialogue and it's a good amount of it,
Yeah.
but it's few and far between almost, and it's very
almost
silent.
like a silent movie at times.
Yeah. Like in the beginning, in the first scene when they're in the city and you have the clone troopers, doing the hand signals.
I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then
I'm surprised. I just took over. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just so surprised at how effective that style, because like it's on Cartoon Network. It's not for like 30-year-old like Star Wars fans who've been following it since the 70s. It's not for them. This is for kids.
Well,
it's for like 10 to 14. That's that demographic. And like
it was for the new, because this movie this came out in 2003. Right?
Yeah,
it was for the literal brand new audience that they wanted.
Yeah, the prequel crowd.
This was to Branch, episode 2 and episode 3, and the reason it got pushed away, because it's super over the top. It's like here's the Jedi, and now they're punching super battle droids.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my God. And basically what I just wanted to say is like the storytelling, it's so pure. It's such a pure style storytelling, and it's delivered in a way that's super clear, that anybody of any age can understand the story. They can understand what the characters' motivations are. They can understand what the characters are feeling. And
they put a lot of depth in environmental here.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say, there's you can tell that like some of the budget, it just wasn't there for the visuals. It just wasn't there. But the sound effects, it sounds so good. It sounds so good.
Yeah. 25 minutes in, we're in Dooku's, his lair on the name of the planet. Sorry. And you had the Sith, who wanted to be under him.
Asajj Ventress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And and he's like, you're not a Sith. You don't. You lack. You have too much fear.
Yeah.
Right. And Sith cannot be afraid of anything. Right.
Yeah.
And just like a Jedi, also not afraid of anything. Therefore, you're less than a Jedi and less than a Sith. And but he gives her like the benefit of the doubt because Sidious says, "Yeah, you're good."
Yeah.
But the entire part, like, there's very little dialogue, and it's just the fighting and the sound and the it literally everything about it just screams Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Everything about it screams Samurai Jack.
Even the way that. So I'm specifically remembering this. I think it's like one of the earlier Samurai Jack episodes where he's defending these dogs against these like robot cockroaches or whatever. Like that whole episode with like that style of like I guess quote unquote action violence with like destroying these droids. That's literally this, but lightsabers. And I just really like how they're just able to bring a certain level of violence, but it's also like okay because they're droids. Like you can cut up droids and it's perfectly fine.
Or you can shoot faceless
faceless clone troopers. Yeah.
Right? Because there's really nothing human. Like there's nothing human to it if there's no face to it.
Yeah.
And so it's okay for the violence to ensue. I don't know. This is why, because when I watched it, I'm like, I feel like when I was watching it, that it was me back living when I was 9, 10 years old on maybe a Sunday afternoon when there's nothing else on TV but these older cartoons, and you just as a kid, you're just like.
Have you seen any of this when it first came out?
No, I haven't. It was just your basic Cartoon Network stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And these are the things that I guess you never really notice, because there's still a lot more depth to these things than any other Cartoon Network thing.
Yeah. The reason I bring that up is because I did watch like onesie-twosies episodes of the Clone Wars, but I never saw it in a cohesive fucking thing. So like seeing it all together, and just seeing how like the story was meant to be fleshed out, I kind of appreciated it more because it definitely sets the stage for how Anakin, became a knight, how Anakin is kind of a bad he's like immature. He's not a good decision maker. That one episode where Asajj Ventress basically baits him into leaving his entire command, and then he just leaves the battle to just chase. He's just fully like on full tilt, chasing this one like starfighter, and yeah.
Is it interesting to see like early on, like again, part one, where how little faith, like not faith, but trust that Obi-Wan has in Anakin?
In the beginning, I did kind of think it was a little.
Like Obi-Wan's just like, hey man, like I understand you don't believe he's ready, but you're kind of being an asshole.
Yeah,
like, he's a little like super against him having like your commander. You're commanding an entire like fleet here.
Yeah,
you know, because you're like the best pilot.
No, but he proves him right. He proves Obi-Wan right because Anakin makes dumbass decisions.
Yeah.
He leaves his entire command, and I'm just like, oh, okay, you are stupid. Obi-Wan is right. You don't deserve your own command. You literally left the battle to fight one droid. And like, yeah, no, he's Anakin just sucks. Yeah,
he was never ready.
No, he wasn't. Yeah.
What else? Like.
Yeah,
I want to keep picking at the beginning because we keep.
I think the beginning's kind of weak.
Yeah,
I
but
think the beginning is a little weak.
Sure, but that again, it brings nostalgic feelings to me personally, just because the way it was put together. You know, it's very slow paced.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I kind of like that.
Quiet.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays, I'm not too big of a fan of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like it's nostalgic to me because it brings me back to when I was like in middle school or elementary school, watching these old cartoon and everything, where it's just the silence, the sound. It brings something back.
Like
out
this
of memory.
is like the only thing going on right now.
Yeah. I think that's a really interesting choice. That Mr. Tartakovsky, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that he made, because it's a risk, because like kids, the whole idea is that like to cater to like a younger crowd, you want something like faster paced, but he allows his shows to take the time to fucking build atmosphere. And I think that's part of the reason why like I can enjoy it as someone who's 32 years old. I can enjoy this. I can appreciate it. I can like be in the moment, and I don't have to. It's not constantly in the back of my mind like, oh, this is a kid show. This is a kid show. It's not there because I'm in it. So I think there are parts of the show where it kind of takes me out, and I like once again realize, oh, this is a kid show. I think part of those moments happen when there's a lot of dialogue. I think the dialogue is just kind of there to. It's a very bare bones. It's not meant to be deep. It's just dialogue to basically flesh out the skeleton of what's happening. The meat of this show is the visuals. The meat of this show is in unspoken storytelling, I feel like. And I think that's where the show really shines.
That's another thing there.
Yeah.
It's meant to bring up or at least lead in a new, demographic, a new target audience.
Yeah.
But also it's not to, like we like to talk about, not to subvert the expectations of an already established audience. An audience that knows about Star Wars.
Yeah.
When they watch that, they can piece together the information they already know.
Do you think how seriously do you take speaking about like addressing people's expectations? I want to talk about at this time in, I guess, Star Wars history, like 2003. Like we have the original trilogy. I believe Clone Wars has not come out yet.
Episode 1 and 2 should have come out.
Clone Wars did come out.
3 was 2005. I'm pretty sure.
3 hasn't come out yet.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we have episode 1 and episode 2 out.
Should.
Okay, so there is a understanding that lightsaber battles can be super intense, but like the showcasing of the power of the Force, we haven't really seen that on screen yet. And this show really expands that.
Yes.
It really like as a kid who's only seen all the Star Wars that's available at the time, and then I watched this, and then I realized, oh, they can do that? Like, holy shit.
Like fly
Yeah.
down, like Dooku, like Count Dooku just.
I know.
like
fucking
Doctor
Mace
Strange.
Windu, like fucking Wing Chun
Yeah.
punching these droids, and like fucking Kit Fisto? Kit Fisto was underwater?
Yep.
And like his lightsaber was fucking like a wavy fucking blade of plasma underwater. That shit was badass.
Yeah.
And like not only that, okay, so one other force power I want to bring to light here. It only happens one time in the actual live action. It's the force speed.
Yep.
Where they just run super fucking fast. That happened one time in episode 1 when they're running from the droid to Kaz. And it's never happened ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking like, okay, Jedi can run super fucking fast. Basically, they're like the Flash, or they can be the Flash for like a couple seconds. That's never happened ever again in any of these other Star Wars media.
Yeah.
But it happens all the fucking time in the Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like that. I think they should bring it back. Jedi should be able to run super fucking fast.
Just for like a short distance, like
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
dash, little
Yeah.
dash.
It's like an ultimate power move that you build up XP and stamina for, and then you.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like playing Sonic or something. You go through a little. Okay, we're good.
When this,
I like that.
When this came out, so growing up, I grew up on the original trilogy. I used to watch it on VHS at my grandma's. Every time I'd go over there, I'd pop in A New Hope. It was either that, Space Jam, or
Space
I
Jam.
have Space Jam
there
on
was
VHS.
a blooper video of NBA pranks that
Oh.
it was like those 3 VHS tapes that I would like have on rotation when I went to my grandma's. And then when obviously I introduced to DVDs, I started watching all the other movies.
Mhm.
Bonus
And
features.
yeah. And then when the prequels started coming out,
Yeah.
Phantom Menace was cool, Darth Maul was scary.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones, it gets a lot of hate. I understand why it does.
Yeah.
It's just kind of slow.
It has moments.
It does
like
have
the Battle of
moments.
Geonosis. That was pretty badass. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever seen that many lightsabers on screen
Mhm.
before.
But I think as a kid,
Mm.
the moment that I knew
I hate.
I was a super fan was this show.
Okay.
This show really like turned it up for me. And I was super hyped for Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been a Star Wars super fan ever since.
I like
Oh
that.
yeah.
I like that because I never honestly. So when you're watching it, part of me is like, I know I've seen Star Wars like this,
Yeah.
like the Cartoon Network before, even just the Clone Wars and like CGI one, or just the CGI Clone Wars one. Where you see
Dave Filoni's?
Dave Filoni's, yeah.
Yeah.
And I never finished it, of course, but I definitely would see, syndicated reruns of them
Mm-hmm.
every once in a while because they didn't really. I don't think it actually became like a every weekly episode thing until after it was past my.
Is Dave Filoni's Clone Wars? Is it more?
I think it is all canon.
That's canon.
That's all canon.
Okay. No. What I wanted to ask was like it's more dialogue, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
a lot more dialogue, and
There's-
like it. I think that kind of narrows the demographic to a younger audience. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Especially the first few seasons are, to me, they're really rough to get through. Just
Mm.
because I felt like I was watching a kid's show, but I was watching it for the canon. And then,
Yeah.
what
What a true fan.
once I pushed through that,
Yeah.
all the seasons after that weren't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's another show called The Bad Batch that I hear is good.
What is that? I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
I think it's what clone.
They're like
Clone
clones
Troopers.
that create their own like.
Clone Troopers.
They're clone troopers that create their own special forces team or something.
Oh, what are they? Some kind of Suicide Squad?
Yeah, no, but apparently it's good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a friend of mine
Yeah.
from the boat. Well, his name, you didn't know him.
Uh-huh.
His name was Mountjoy, and he's like big on Star Wars and Marvel stuff.
Oh, okay.
So him and I would talk about Star Wars a little bit, but he was way more into it than me. But every once in a while, like a new season of The Bad Batch comes out, not the movie The Bad Batch with Suki Waterhouse, which is a good one, by the way.
What?
No, you haven't seen that one?
No.
It's like a post-apocalyptic movie. Suki Waterhouse, you know who that is?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, we can talk about it later if you want.
Okay, yeah.
But we can talk about it now, I guess. No, I'm making a point here. I'm not really making a point.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not making a point here. I'm just explaining stuff. You know, he would talk about how The Bad Batch is a good show on Facebook. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I kind of want to watch it, but honestly, sometimes I can feel a little Star Wars'd out, just like you feel a little Marveled out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Star Wars is just like it's hard to keep up with it sometimes.
I don't really like the 3D animation. I don't like that animation style.
I agree.
It really takes me out of it.
I agree.
I was there for like the later seasons. I was there for the progression of the story, and that's for the most part it. But the 3D animation, just that whole style, just doesn't look good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, it doesn't look good to me either. But when I was a kid, and I didn't watch everything. I rather enjoyed it, but I was also a kid because I was the person who was supposed to enjoy it.
Yeah.
If I were to watch it now, I don't know either. You know what I mean? Because I don't really care for those things as much.
I feel
anymore.
like when cartoons are when they move to a more CG oriented fucking style, I feel like the cinematography takes a hit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the framing of shots just become less interesting. And I don't know like why that happens.
Maybe it's less intimate.
Maybe that's what it is. What I think is that like when you have a CG or like computer 3D and style animation, there's more focus on characters' movement, characters' animation, and there's less focus on how the whole picture looks. It looks less artistic, whereas a traditional animated like quote unquote drawn or like colored, or I mean even like the cartoons, they use computers for those, but I'm saying like the non CG styled ones, I feel like there's more thought put into. They probably storyboard that shit. I don't know if they storyboard the CG shit. How do you storyboard CG shit?
I'm sure
They're all rough sketches.
No, I think they storyboard everything.
Okay.
How could you not?
It just doesn't look as iconic. Like I'm
but
trying to.
they definitely have to storyboard it.
I guess it's
It's
true.
the same concept, except one thing's computer generated, one is computer generated, but also hand drawn.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they storyboard. Even South Park is storyboarded.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I guess you're like it could feel rushed. It could feel less intimate because
It just feels less inspired.
yeah, that could be a
Yeah.
thing. That could 100% be something in your head.
Yeah.
And it could be in a lot of people. That could be a very common thought.
Like there are images from this series that are kind of just seared in my brain. Like that one shot where like the fucking the droids that are on the bikes with the lances.
Yeah.
And that one super looking droid, this one, he looks like a Black Knight. Like
No, that's Durg.
Durg?
Durg is
Yeah.
what do you call him? A
Is he not a droid?
Genndy. No, he's a species known as Genndy, and they live for thousands of years.
Holy
and
shit.
they're like almost undestructed. Like they're hard to kill.
I see.
That's why he,
Okay. I was wondering, because he kind of had like a T-1000 vibe where he just like couldn't die.
I don't know if you guys played Jedi Survivor.
I haven't yet.
No.
Okay, well, there's a Genndy in that game.
All right.
It's like a boss thing to fight.
But yeah, that whole sequence,
I don't want
like
to play it now.
like that's seared in my brain. The one scene where I forget what it was. It's like this giant thing, and it like had like a hammer, and it would just fucking flatten like a gigantic circular area, and it would just slowly move. And then there's this one scene where like the stormtroopers, they're not stormtroopers, the clone troopers. The clone troopers, they're like wondering what this thing is, and then it slams for the first time, and then they're like, oh shit, and then they start shooting at it. And like that moment of realization, like that's also seared in my brain cuz like visually it's so captivating. When I think about, what if that all that was CG? It just wouldn't look as good.
Mhm.
Like it I think
No, it wouldn't.
I think
You're right.
graphically it would look more realistic cuz with CG you could have more realistic shading. You could have more realistic textures. But like I guess it's kind of a little bit of that uncanny valley
Yeah.
where like something becomes a little bit more realistic and now the effect is a lot less. Keeping it as a cartoon, it has a greater effect on me as a person who watches it. And I think that's kind of where Tartakovsky's Clone Wars succeeds, and it's kind of where Dave Filoni's Clone Wars doesn't succeed as much.
So, I mean, not to totally shit on Dave Filoni's take on everything, because I think he introduced a lot of good. Like, there's some characters and themes that he brought out or introduced that I think did good for Star Wars. Like, there's a character named Cad Bane. He appeared.
He showed up in Mandalorian.
in Boba Fett.
Oh, Boba. I get this mixed up. Whatever.
Yeah. In the series, he was probably one of the best things, a part of that Dave Filoni series. But again, he suffered for being part of a kids show.
Doesn't Dave Filoni have a continued influence on Star Wars stuff? Like, doesn't he have producer credit?
He's
kind of
like the Kevin Feige of Star Wars right now.
Okay, all right,
Pretty sure he also writes some Marvel stuff too. Pretty sure.
possibly, probably.
Pretty sure he's actually co-writing the script for new Secret Wars stuff or whatever.
Oh, I have not seen.
Or not for Secret Wars, but the Doomsday one or whatever.
I don't know. No.
I don't know. But I could have sworn I read it. It was him or some other name similar, but somebody's writing something out of Fantastic Four-wise or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he still has a big hit because he also co-produced The Mandalorian, right?
Mm-hmm. Him and Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau. Favreau?
Favreau, yeah.
Favreau.
To be honest, like, whenever I think of Jon Favreau, I just think of Chef.
That was a good movie.
Nice. I mean, obviously he has more involved with Marvel and Star Wars. But yeah, he's just forever the Chef guy to me. I think that movie's great, and I thought he was really good in that.
I was telling Jonah I saw Deadpool late last night.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
How is it? I kind of want to see it. Oh, pretty good?
Pretty good.
All right.
Critically speaking, I thought parts were a little rushed,
Yeah.
but outside of that,
Would you say it's better than one, worse than one, better than two? Like where?
I don't want to say.
Oh, really?
I'm not going to say that to you.
All right.
I don't want
How dare you?
to. Yeah.
How dare you ask that?
No, don't ask that question about Deadpool. Come
What
on.
about Deadpool 1 and 2? Like where
One is better than two.
One's okay. No, I agree with that.
One is like with the hands down. One is better than two. But two is great still.
Yeah.
But three, there's just a lot going on.
Okay. All right.
They're like, and I was thinking and I'm not, no spoiler here.
Yeah.
There was a scene, like a fight scene where, because we all know Wolverine's in it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's the case here. There's a scene where Wolverine is fighting a bunch of people, and in the back.
Wait. Wolverine's in Deadpool and Wolverine?
Okay, all right, whatever. Anyway,
No spoilers!
Okay, I forgot it was actually called that. There's a scene where Wolverine is fighting a bunch of people, and in the background, Deadpool's fighting a bunch of people.
Uh-huh.
And in my head, I'm thinking, a director, either he may not have thought about this, right? But he's put this in a way because you can focus on one person or the other because you can't rewind it while you're in the theater.
Yeah.
So in order to get both perspectives, unless you could focus on both like a Rain Man, you just got to buy another ticket and watch again. And then, you know what I mean? I'm thinking he's like, obviously they have the side-by-side fights and everything, but then you're like, you want to see the movements of Wolverine.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's what I was focused on. I was focused on his stuff, which was, it was so good.
Damn, I gotta watch it. Fuck.
And then you're like, in the background, you see Deadpool,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I want to focus on his too. But I can't do
Interesting.
both because one is to the forefront of the focus.
Sounds like your eyes were just like trying to figure
I
out
was
what
like-
to eat.
I was like a snail, and I was like, fuck, what do I know? There's so much going on here.
Nice.
And of course, people already have like an hour-long video of like the That's why, you know, like last night after we went to like her sister's thing,
Yeah.
I was like, I need to watch it. I'm like, and I would have invited you guys, but I'm like, it was a last minute decision,
Yeah.
and I need to get ahead of like the spoilers and everything, you know. And I'm not spoiling. I promise. There was no. I didn't say anything was spoiled.
Yeah. No, I still feel
But
in the dark. I'm looking forward to it.
I highly recommend you guys just watch it. You guys just
Yeah.
just do it. Just do it.
Just
do
it. And you won't regret it. And it's just gonna make you laugh. It's so funny.
All right.
So the brutality. That's it. Okay. And then I can't wait to talk about it because, like, I asked people in my office, like, "Yeah, we're gonna watch it. Yeah, we're probably gonna watch it next week, or I'll fall asleep in theaters. I'll have to wait till it comes on Disney." Like, fuck you, fucking losers!
I know.
I can't talk to you guys about this stuff. Like, the only people I can talk to about these type of things are you guys.
Yeah.
Like, you're the only people that like this stuff, except for you. You just don't like Jake Gyllenhaal, and you know.
Is Jake Gyllenhaal in Deadpool?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just thinking about I wanted to talk about the movie One Day Nightcrawler.
I like Nightcrawler.
Okay.
That's like one of the only Jake Gyllenhaal movies I like.
Okay, cool. Never mind.
No, I do. I think it's because Jake Gyllenhaal's a scumbag and he plays a scumbag.
It's an absolute fucking.
I think that's actually Jake Gyllenhaal just doing himself.
They didn't even give him lines. They just put the camera on him. All right, start
rolling.
rolling.
This is actually a documentary.
Ever since the love of his life died, the love of his life being the Joker. What's his name?
Who? What?
Who died to play the Joker?
Fucking Heath
Ledger.
Ledger.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
since Heath Ledger died, he lost.
I've never seen Brokeback Mountain. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Apparently, it's actually good. I think it just
Yeah.
gets a lot of,
I think, it definitely gets a lot of hate.
Oh, if
But
it
not-
came-
maybe not hate. It gets a lot of flack.
If that movie came out now, it would kill it. It would kill the box office.
I think it would need to be spicier if it came out now.
No. I think
Did I tell you guys I watched Challengers? And that movie, it's one of the most horny movies I've ever seen.
really,
And it's also really cool.
really.
It's like the whole movie has a cool vibe. And I don't know have I told you about this?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like I knew Challengers, it's a movie about tennis. And I also knew Challengers, it's relatively well received critically. So I'm thinking, okay,
Wasn't it a cuck movie or something?
no.
Isn't it?
No, it's not.
Isn't she married to one of the guys?
I mean, she does eventually marry one of the guys, but like that's it.
I want to watch it. I'll watch
Yeah,
it.
no. What I wanted to say is like the movie, like I had expectations of the movie where it'd be kind of like a, almost like a Oscar Beatty sports movie with the new hotness stars in it. I kind of expected that to be it, but it's actually, it's just cool. It's not trying to be Oscar Beatty. It's not trying to be like deep or emotionally affecting. It's just trying to be fucking cool.
Okay.
And I think a big part of it is the soundtrack. There's like a really sick, like techno-y trance style track that plays, and it just plays at random parts. It plays like when they're just talking, and like they're like two characters would be talking to each other, and then this music kicks in, and then what they're talking about suddenly becomes way more elevated because like, oh fuck, all right, yeah, the cool beat just came in. And, yeah, no, the movie's just fucking cool. It's cool.
Where'd you watch it?
I torrented it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Bleep that one out.
Whatever. But yeah, no. Yeah, I think if Brokeback Mountain, I don't know because I haven't seen Brokeback Mountain, but I think a certain level of horny is required in this day and age, and that's just me coming off of watching Challengers, and when I think about like the movies that people talk about a lot, like in social media, like a lot of them are horny movies. Like for example, Saltburn. Like a lot of people talked about Saltburn.
Love Lies Bleeding. I
Yeah.
just watched that.
I heard that was good. You know what? I love Kristen Stewart, and I can't believe I haven't seen this movie.
Yeah,
I'm halfway through it right now.
I want to watch it.
So far, so good.
super horny.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
And you know what? Like, there's a horniness to movies that come out these days that's just cooler and edgier than the horny of my period. like mid 2000s. Because when I think of like American Pie, I think about like even Superbad has horny parts to it, or like
Yeah, but it's satirical horny. You know what I mean? Some are just like,
yeah,
some are just in your face about it. Like, hey, we be fucking.
or Harold and Kumar, like
Yeah, the satirical stuff though. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it just adds I think they're really, those movies are too, like, they want the college people. They want
Yeah.
the people the young adult people.
yeah.
And now this one just, the movies today just
Yeah, but these
whoever's
movies,
watching.
they more,
They got substance.
yeah, and not
Yeah.
just that. I feel like people are, they don't toss it aside as like, oh yeah, that's just a raunchy movie. Like there's like an art to the horniness that makes me understand the brain of the person behind the camera and understand like, okay, this is what women find attractive. Like when I watch Saltburn and the shots of Jacob Elordi in the like when he's all fucking sweaty and like it's showing like parts of his, I'm like, this is what women like. Okay, all right, and it's kind of like a because I feel like for the longest time when I'm watching horny stuff in movies, it's like from the guy's perspective.
Yeah.
It's what like guys find hot. And seeing it from a women's perspective of what they find hot, not even like what they find hot in guys, but what they find hot in other women, like that kind of just expands my idea of sexuality. And I just think that's super interesting. And I mean, also like horny stuff with like attractive people. That's also like thumbs up for me. But that's besides the point. Why did we start to get talking about challengers again? I forget.
I
Brokeback
talked
Mountain,
about
Jake Gyllenhaal, Brokeback
Yeah,
Mountain.
pivots.
pivots,
Yeah,
and then I talked about.
All right.
I started talking about Deadpool, and then before that, Dave Filoni.
Do you know? I'm sure you're familiar with this. There is a copy pasta of the Clone Wars, Dave Filoni's Clone Wars, talking about, it's basically from the perspective of Obi-Wan. And he's talking about Ahsoka. And it's a copy pasta.
Where they edited him like saying,
yeah, saying basically like
Sexualizing
sexualizing the fuck out of Ahsoka.
we saw her like orange alien.
Yes.
She split it right open. Or
Yeah. Yeah.
we told her this. That's how we do it.
That's so funny.
I've seen that.
Yeah. But
Like old Obi-Wan, right? Yeah.
old Obi-Wan, basically, just talking about it, and it ends with
Just kick him.
because he's talking to Luke.
Yeah.
That's what it is. No, it's an incredibly degenerate fucking copy pasta, but it's also funny in like a degenerate kind of way.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. All right.
Oh,
We'll send you that YouTube video. It's funny.
it's totally must watch as long as Sarah's not in the room.
Yeah.
You're on your own. She might get offended by it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. She might. I know Hannah would. Not offended, but she would be like, ugh.
No, it's definitely like guys locker room talk like 100%.
Yeah.
For sure.
Old
Fucking lecherous Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Okay. I want to roll back again. I realized we forgot to take that light out. My bad.
Oh, that's all right.
Just the nostalgia it gets from seeing the animation style, and that's why another reason why this is way better than 3D animation. 100%.
Yeah.
Because that is the style of cartoon that we grew up with essentially. Like from what it was from like maybe I say like 2000 till maybe 2015.
Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack.
Well, I think it has a little bit more to do, more than just nostalgia, because I think
The cartooning style.
I think he's been constantly putting out great work. If you guys haven't seen Primal on Max,
No.
I think the latest thing I've seen
new?
of his is the last season of Samurai Jack, which was a big departure from previous Samurai Jack because it's more adult.
Because it was Adult Swim. It wasn't Cartoon Network.
I really liked it. I watched it underway, and I was kind of blown away by it.
Maybe it's because I realized that Samurai Jack always was a little advanced for younger kids.
Yeah.
Well, of course they did hold back. but realistically, it was a lot of fighting. It was comedic.
I gotta say, like,
There was borderline things.
I don't think I've ever seen something so towing the line of violent when I was a kid. Now, I'm thinking of the one scene where like he cuts the robot in half and then he flies through as the robot's body gets, and then the robot oil fucking
Yes.
gushes him and he's just covered in this oil, and it's obviously supposed to be like blood, right? But because it's oil, they could get away with it. Look at that. But like that, the badassery of that
That's
has
exactly what's
always
so
been
funny.
stuck in my brain.
What's so crazy
Yeah.
is that's exactly the same thing that comes to my mind.
Yes.
When I go back, because again, I'm not gonna say. As a kid, I watched Samurai Jack whenever I could, whenever it was on, because it wasn't always on.
It's true. Yeah.
It was very rarely on. So it was always a special treat to watch it.
Yeah.
And then I remember doing the Samurai Jack, Samurai Jack,
Yeah.
Jack.
That should go hard.
Yeah, for real.
What the fuck?
And then to this day, like it's a core memory.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about core memories. It's 100% a core memory. Samurai Jack, everything about it. And when I see the animation style, because there's cartooning styles,
Yeah.
and there's animation styles.
Right. How they move.
How they
and stuff
move.
like that. Yeah.
Cartooning is how they're drawn,
Right.
right? Their physiology.
Uh-huh.
And there's so many different types of cartooning.
Yes.
There's plenty of them. But when you see that, and then I look at, he also helped develop or produce Venture Brothers.
I haven't seen that.
Venture Brothers is hilarious. Hilarious show. Very smart, too.
Okay.
But really funny and raunchy at the same time. And it's the same stuff. It's Cartoon Network. Adult Swim is just Cartoon Network, but like for the kids who don't want to go to bed yet. And that was me, there's a guy who I was watching Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
And he's talking about Adult Swim being like all these shows from like early 2000s and 2010s Cartoon Network are now on Adult Swim because they realize like, yeah, maybe it was a little too high. It was a little too much for 9-year-olds to watch this stuff. In reality, it doesn't matter. I've been watching R-rated movies since I was like probably 8.
Yeah, I watched Under Siege when I was like 8 years old.
Yeah, I watched Dodgeball when I was living. I was 7 or 8. Well, Dodgeball came out in 2004, so I was 10 actually. Anyway,
I want to ask about something Star Wars canon related. So Shakti, what is Shakti's fate?
Yep.
Really? No one. It's kind of up in the air.
It's been, I think, up in the air. I think because at one point, she, when The Force Unleashed, the video game that came out on the PS2, PS3,
that's not canon no more.
Not canon no more. Galen Merrick's not canon. He killed Shakti in the first game.
Oh wow. Okay.
In this series,
Yeah.
She got wrapped up by General Grievous and left on Coruscant. In deleted scenes for episode 3,
Yeah.
she was taken to the ship with General Grievous, and then General Grievous executed her right in front of
Wow.
Obi-Wan and Anakin. So, and that was a deleted scene.
Okay.
So it's kind of
So
wish-washy.
Either way,
Wait.
this whole series is not canon either.
Wait, a deleted scene from episode 3?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, episode 3, not deleted scene from Clone Wars.
Episode 3, yeah, deleted scene from episode
Like
3.
live action.
Live action.
Deleted scene from Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
So it
Interesting.
Theoretically, it could have been canon. All of it.
Could have
Interesting.
been canon.
They
that
probably
she
wanted
died.
they wanted to go into a different direction with all this. So
But I think it's up in the air because, like, who knows? Who knows what
Yeah.
happened to her? Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Shakti, I don't think I've seen the episodes where Grievous is kind of terrorizing the Jedi. I have not seen those episodes. So now when I was watching it in Volume 2, by the way, I definitely think Volume 1 is less cohesive than I think Volume 2 is way more cohesive. And I think part of the reason is I think Volume 2 had longer episodes. Volume 1, it was just a couple minute clips. I'm pretty sure, right?
I think yes. They were like there's a lot of episodes in Volume 1. They were pieced together, and I think a lot of that had to do with I don't think they really knew what direction they wanted to go with the series, and I think Clone Wars in itself I think they just wanted to make it pretty chaotic. These are like battles and wars.
Yeah,
on.
There's a lot of back and forth. There's
Yeah.
a lot like different people doing different things.
Yeah, shit's just
Yeah.
popping off. And the second volume, I think, is just like more.
Definitely more focused.
Yeah,
Less. I got the sense that there were less commercial breaks.
I think that's when they started to know this is the direction we're going with Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3, and this is how we need to connect it.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest retcon reasons was George Lucas didn't like the direction they went with General Grievous.
Okay.
George Lucas thought General Grievous was
Too OP.
He thought people were gonna think he's cooler and scarier than Darth Vader.
Oh.
And with Revenge of the Sith kind of ushering in Darth Vader, he didn't want like General Grievous to show up in the movie and ball out.
Yeah.
He wanted him to be this kind of cowardly.
Yeah, because when we first see General Grievous, he's kind of like coughing and shit
Mm-hmm.
in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in Dave Filoni's cartoon,
He's OP.
no, he's not.
Oh, sorry. You said Dave Filoni. I was
yeah.
thinking Clone Wars. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Clone
He's-
Wars.
Grievous shows up in Filoni's Clone Wars too.
He does.
Okay.
And
he's more in
he-
line with the.
he's in line what George Lucas wanted.
Okay.
He runs away.
Oh.
Sometimes he fights. Most of the time he doesn't.
Huh.
He's
Coward. No.
All right.
super disappointing.
You know what? Something while you're talking, I'm developing this idea in my head
Yeah.
about canon and non-canon, right?
It's a very interesting conversation.
Obviously, we like canon because we really like in our world,
Yeah.
in our Western, United States fans of Star Wars. Everyone likes a linear storytelling.
Yeah. We all know what the real thing is.
Yeah.
We all want to know what the real
Yeah.
thing is. Yeah. Bless you.
Sorry, my shoulder just gave out again. Sorry about that.
That's a VA claim. You're good.
Yeah, it's on camera. No, it really hurts actually. We want a linear storytelling. We want to know what we're supposed to believe is the
Yeah.
right.
It's true.
But we also want what we want.
We have our fantasies.
Yeah.
And we want to see those fantasies on the big screen.
Yeah. We want to know what the right thing is, but we also want our fantasies.
Yeah.
And nowadays, Hollywood and animators in New York, they're trying their best.
Yeah.
Like 20 years, we got the yellow freaking Wolverine suit.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And everybody's happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what they wanted. Apparently they were trying to do that also 20 years ago.
Okay.
It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Or in bloopers or whatever. But with Star Wars is doing a lot of things. And I think they're really just, maybe they're not trying to figure out, maybe uncanon things are great because people will be like, that is what I choose to believe is canon. It may be not actually be canon, but for me, it is canon. I can fill in the blanks later myself.
I 100% feel what you're saying. I feel the same way about the Old Republic games.
Yes.
Knights of the Old Republic, Sith Lords.
Freaking Star Wars Unleashed, right? What was it?
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed, like with Star Killer and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to see that. If we're gonna take stuff like Star Killer, like the other son of freaking Anakin,
I think it's tough because
Darth Vader?
when you go to the big screen, everyone's just nerfed. Like everyone's just nerfed because if people were really that strong, then the story would be a lot more simple. Like
I think we need more villain-centric movies.
yeah, no. I think they tried to do that with Kylo Ren. It just that whole
That's a whole
yeah,
thing.
that's a whole. Never mind. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, you don't want to open this door right now.
But like, kind of how the presence that Thanos had throughout Marvel, like he definitely had like, I mean, the whole concept of an Avengers level threat. That's Thanos, and maybe we need an Avengers level threat in Star Wars. And I think they kind of hinted at it with General fucking Blueface. What's his name?
Oh, Admiral Thrawn.
Admiral Thrawn. But when we actually saw him in Ahsoka, I don't know. He was okay, I guess. I just think the Ahsoka show was kind of weak. I don't know. It didn't really scratch that Star Wars itch I wanted it to scratch. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, I don't think Thrawn is it. I don't know who the big. I don't know.
I think they need to tap in more into Legends. I mean, I don't know too much about Legends.
They need to bring in an ancient Sith fucking adversary or some shit like that.
Or a species from the unknown regions.
Ooh.
Because there's a lot of potential in unknown regions where you can bring in an alien race, because that's, I mean, a lot of Legends deals with like Luke Skywalker. Obviously, Luke's not going to be here anymore.
Yeah.
But Luke Skywalker, I can't remember what this alien race is, but he goes to war. He goes to war against this alien race. And the Chiss, which is Admiral Thrawn.
Yes.
The Chiss is the species of like, what do you call it?
They're supposed to be
sentient robot beings.
Oh, he's part robotic?
Yeah.
Or supposed to be?
Yeah, I think that's what Chiss are.
Okay.
But yeah, they go to war, I think, with Chiss. They go to war with other alien races, because the Chiss, I think, they are part of like the unknown regions as well.
I remember when I first, I was in middle school living in Florida, and this kid, he brought in a book. It was a Star Wars book. And I didn't think Star Wars had books. I thought it was just only movies. And before I really knew that there was like decades already of lore that people have developed, either while they're maybe just, random people who are fans make their own lore and then gets widely accepted and then adopted into it.
Yeah.
Which can you imagine being a fan and then your story of lore is so accepted and so good that it becomes canon or become part of like the lore, and you're just a guy with like it wasn't, and I guess George Lucas loved it, and I forgot what it was. It was a thin book, so maybe graphic novel put into pages.
What was it about? A character that's already established?
I'm fairly certain it was Knights of the Old Republic, but then again, I didn't really hear about it, Knights of the Old Republic, until 2014, because I wasn't really a big fan of Star Wars till maybe 2016.
Yeah.
Right, and it wasn't until maybe 2018 where I got really into it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I wouldn't even say that into it. I love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. It's just another one of those once in a lifetime ideas.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. I think it's very important that they do take it seriously, because it's not, at this point in time, it's not just entertainment. It's some people, it's their livelihoods. It's the thing that they grew up with. It's everything that makes them who they are sometimes.
Yeah.
It's the thing that makes them happy. It's more than just a movie series or something. It's
going to be tougher and tougher for Star Wars to go back to that cultural iconic status, just because it's owned by Disney now, and like there's so much corporatification with like Star Wars property, and everything's like, it has to go through so many layers of like corporate approval before, and like the final product, it just ends up being so neutered. It just ends up being so clinical and fucking. I say this all the time, like there's a big difference between Mandalorian Season 1 and the latest season Mandalorian. Like Mandalorian Season 1, I felt like was sharper. It was more, I just thought it was better. I don't know. The later seasons, it just feels so much weaker. And I think like Andor, like the producers, they're like, who the fuck is Andor? All right, here. We don't give a shit about Andor. People don't give a shit about Andor. Make whatever you want. And then he made something fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Because like all the producers didn't have their fucking grubby hands all over it. But as soon as you bring lightsabers into the mix, as soon as you bring Jedi into the mix, like they want control. So
once you bring the symbols into something, once you bring the little talismans of like that make the money, right? Like, when you bring in the bag of wheat, you're like, we want to turn it into bread, or when you bring in the dollars, we're gonna be looking at the dollars.
Well, they need like a significant event. They almost need to stop making their content and almost do kind of like what Force Awakens was, because when Force
Yeah.
Awakens came out, like that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Um, it came out when I was in boot camp,
Mhm.
and I remember like sitting in boot camp, and I had a list of all the things that I was going to do once I got out of boot camp.
Yeah.
And like one of them was like, get new soap and like get a new pair of shoes. And on the bottom of my list circled was go watch The Force Awakens. And I did that.
Nice.
Sorry, I got hyped up.
I liked Force Awakens.
It was good, but I think I was too hyped up.
Okay.
I think I didn't understand why they, did the same thing, but
Were your expectations met, or do you think they were not met?
my expectations were meh.
Oh, they're meh, not met.
Meh.
Gotcha.
I
Yeah, no,
think-
I'm not a fan of these three at all.
What I think Force Awakens, it set up a really interesting trajectory. And it got me excited for the next movie. But when I think about Force Awakens as Force Awakens just by itself, it's kind of derivative. I agree. But the level of excitement that I got walking out of the theater, it was unlike anything else. And I was definitely a little bit disappointed with Last Jedi, but I was also really interested by the direction Last Jedi was going. And then Rise of Skywalker was it's just like, damn, we can't go back in time and redo this. This is Rise of Skywalker. This is what I have to live with. Okay, well, I guess I'll just stop caring about Star Wars for a little bit now. Okay.
No, they need to. Well, there's too much money in it, but they can't just pack it up. They can't pretend it never happened.
I know.
It's just not possible. It's like this is what you have to live with,
I know.
and
That's just being an adult now. Watching Rise of Skywalker made me more of an adult
this is
because it taught me how to accept disappointment in life. It actually, Star Wars taught me a very valuable lesson. Yeah.
This is then, yeah. When you have kids, you gotta sit them down. And, I had to watch it, so do you.
Oh God.
this is your. I'm trying. This hurts me more than it hurts you. Literally,
Yeah.
when it's like, wow, Star Wars.
Mhm.
I can't wait to see where it goes. Like 5-year-old kid or 10-year-old kid, and you're like, oh no, oh my god. You have to watch episode 1, 2, and 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or do you show them 4, 5, 6 before 1, 2, and 3?
I honestly, I wouldn't even make my kid. The only thing that I might like really try to push on my kid would be Lord of the Rings.
100%.
That's really it. I would like tell them to try to like, relive the magic of the Thanos saga, because I thought that up until that, those were magical moments in movie history, I think. And after Thanos, it kind of just
Yeah.
they didn't know what to do.
They
But
still
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
force it on them because that's a lot of movies. That's a lot of movies.
No. If anything, it would be like a weekly thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make my 10-year-old go through a 48-hour freaking session of maybe finishing halfway through the saga of 32 movies or 26 movies, I believe. No, it was 24 movies before.
It's hella movies. It's hella.
And, or something. It's in the 20s. Of course not. However, it's, in my eyes,
Yeah.
because it's a big part. It was a big part of my childhood.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about it, the
Mm.
crazy thing is, say if I were to have a kid in the next 2 years, right? Maybe. It's a big part of my childhood, and it's like there's nothing bad about it. Like it was,
Yeah.
it felt every single time when there's something new. When from the beginning, the first Iron Man movie I watched,
Yeah.
and then to Endgame, when you first see Iron Man and Iron Man dies, and you're just
Yeah.
like sitting there like
It's
it's over.
yeah.
Like my childhood is over.
I have to do my taxes tomorrow. I have to put down my dog now. I have
Oh,
to.
then-
God.
But then if you were to have a kid, and then,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying have a kid because of this, and you start over,
Yeah.
and then you get to live vicariously and just
Yeah.
absorb some of
But
that.
it wouldn't be
beauty.
the same though. It wouldn't be the same.
Not for you,
Yeah.
but like when you look at somebody and maybe they feel the same way, hopefully they do. But if they don't, it's fine.
Yeah.
and then you're like, then you get to see on the outside looking in
Yeah.
the wonder
Yes.
that somebody else would have.
Yes.
That is something.
Just a taste of like that original feeling of when you first watched it. Yeah, no.
But then it's like when you're first watching, you really don't know how to explain it. You don't know how to take it in.
Yeah.
You just feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when and maybe you will never be able to actually quantify the feelings yourself because you can't feel them again. Maybe you could one day. Who knows? But then if you were to see on the outside looking in from somebody who really enjoys something, when you show somebody something that they really that you enjoyed and then you watch them enjoy it, don't you feel a self-satisfaction gratification?
Yeah.
Like-
That's actually like a really interesting I guess dynamic of empathy. And that's just one way that movies just kind of foster human empathy because it's all about sharing the experience. And
In America right now,
Uh-huh.
and maybe this isn't true, but I believe it's 100% true.
Uh-huh.
Going to the movies, watching movies is not about entertainment anymore. It's literally the culture. Like it is entertainment culture, sure, but like
Yeah.
it's people go because it's part of the culture.
Yeah.
This is the lore that we established. We have to go to the movies because like or watch these things like Marvel because it's now became a staple
Yeah.
in society.
Um
And not like
no,
not in the sense of society only goes forward because of it.
yeah.
I'm not saying that. Society will move forward with or without movies, but it does establish. Like,
I think it comes in waves.
Yeah.
Mostly because like during the height of the Avengers Thanos saga, like absolutely, I would agree. But then after the Thanos saga, like people, it just it didn't have that cultural weight anymore of a new Marvel. Like even now, a new Marvel movie drops and it doesn't have that feel anymore of I need to go see it. I need to see what the next step in this journey is.
no, because we don't have guidelines anymore.
Yeah. So I think yeah, it's kind of like that.
It feels like it's like a line from Eminem.
Yeah.
Like without it, it feels like I'm walking a tightrope without a circus net. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go forward here, but if I fall where I go, there's nothing to hold you up.
I don't think it's just movies though. I think TV shows kind of have that power too. Definitely.
Yeah,
Like
of course
The height
they
of Game of
do.
Thrones, for example, that was
Yeah.
big. Yeah.
No, but there's nothing for me personally, and there's nothing like
Dude, I feel like
going
these
to a
I feel
theater.
like these days people watch shit just to shit on it. Or people watch shit to join in on the shitting on of it.
It gets views.
Yeah, exactly. For example, Velma. Like everyone hated on Velma, and then so many people started watching Velma just so that they could be part of the conversation of shitting on it. And lo and behold, it gets season 2. Like you guys created a monster.
It's
Fucking idiots.
pretty bad though.
Um,
It's well deserved to be shit on, but now everyone wants to follow the wave.
is it that like are you so hungry to be part of this critical conversation that you will go watch it to be a part of it and thus contribute to its success?
Yes.
Like what that I don't know. I don't agree with that at all. I think that rewards shitty content. I don't think you should reward shitty content.
troll culture.
You should let it die. That's what I think.
You're feeding troll culture as well as feeding this godless monstrosity of a show.
I do think at a certain point, being part of internet dialogue becomes less constructive. You get less out of it the deeper you are involved in it. Because I don't know, at a certain point, like part of your brain is like, oh, I should like this or I shouldn't like this because this is how general society views this particular thing. So, for example, I started watching The Acolyte, and I don't even think it's that bad. Like, I think it's better than Ahsoka. It's definitely better than Obi-Wan. I honestly don't know why people hate on it so much. And if I was I don't know, really invested in like the outside conversation, if I was really invested in like what people feel about, then I would be primed to hate it, and like that would kind of make me like be more aware of all the things in the show that aren't good, and then that would stand out to me and thus make my experience worse.
Yeah.
So I think
I think that's part of the reason why I'm not going to watch it.
yeah.
Maybe not
the
because
well is already poisoned for you.
yeah, and like maybe it is better than what these critical viewers that who I and a lot of the times
Yeah.
I'd say most of the time I agree with their like you say you don't really agree with the critical drinkers stuff.
Well, here's the thing.
Not all of his stuff,
He
right?
has a couple takes that I just completely disagree with, and when I go in the comments, everyone's just sucking his dick, and that just kind of turned me off to him, and like
And I'm not one of those people. Like sometimes he'll say something
yeah.
that I'm like I wholeheartedly I do not agree with. I'll be
Yeah.
like, no, you're wrong.
Also, anyone who says the word woke, it immediately turns my brain off to them. Like they say the word woke, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to you. I'm tired of. I just don't want to listen to you. Yeah.
What would you rather them say? To explain it just to generalize.
I don't
the
know.
idea.
I don't know. I'm just tired of people being so mad about that.
Yeah, no, I understand. I really do.
And half the time they don't even like what even is woke. Like woke is a term that was like basically proliferated in the Black community, talking about like being socially conscious and just being not like just being aware of the injustices that are in society regarding like social status, regarding race, like being aware of it. Like that's what woke is. And then it got twisted into this thing where it's like anything like that's not like politically correct or like anything that's, and it just got twisted into that. And then like people started just using it's kind of like social justice warrior.
Yeah.
Like social justice used to be a real term. And then somebody somewhere said social justice warrior, ironically, one time. And then everybody was like, oh, you're just it just became a thing. And then the term social justice, which had real meaning, which had like people actually doing shit in the world to help the society, that term just became anathema. That term just became poisonous, and you can't use it in a way serious anymore. You can only use it in a way that's critical now. That's kind of the same thing that what happened with the term woke. And I'm not Black, but if I were Black, it would be really annoying. Like these are words that I use in my social circle, and now it's being co-opted by like mainstream media, and they're making fun of it now, and they're twisting it, and it's like completely the opposite. And they're like, I don't know.
Would it be easier? Would it be easier if they just thought of a different word to use? Or it would still be as annoying to you?
I think
At that point, you have to think to yourself, is it really about the word, or is it the meaning behind it?
I think they should just be honest. I think they should just be honest. Be like, why can't we just have more white people? Just be honest. Just be honest.
Yeah.
Just be honest. I want more white people in my shows.
But then
just be honest.
Yeah, but then the quote unquote woke, right? The woke.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing that word around like that.
Yeah.
Because I also don't agree with the word woke.
Yeah.
Like that. The woke mob, right, is what they say.
Sure.
a lot,
Yeah.
Right. Will say, "Oh, then you're being blatantly racist." But they're not being blatantly racist, huh?
But
On them.
That's on them to think about it. But then,
but you got to realize some of these people they are kind of racist. They are.
yeah.
And I think there's a really weird Venn diagram of people that you have people that they don't like censorship and they don't like to have their speech neutered. And they're coming from a really honest place. For example, comedians. They're coming from a really honest place. And the quote-unquote woke mob, it fucking tramples all over their livelihood. It tramples their ability to artistically express themselves. So you have that part of the Venn diagram. And then you have the other Venn diagram of racists, right?
True.
And then there's overlap there. And then you have these both of these camps, one of which they're just straight up racists, and one of which they have artistic integrity. So when like the word woke is evoked in a fucking derogatory sense,
They start dragging
you're looking at this you're looking at the middle part of this Venn diagram, and you don't know who the fuck they are. You don't know if they're racist. You don't know if they're being artistically
challenged.
If they're being if they have integrity, if they're artistic intent. Like you don't know. And because of that ambiguity, racists, they have a way in of being racist. Do you get what I'm saying?
I actually 100 million% understand what you're saying.
So like it's just fucking tiring. You know? It's just tiring. It's tiresome. And,
it is. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
But however,
Yeah. Sure.
there are points in time with what with these people are like the critical drinker talking about.
Yeah.
Is where it is just overt and blatantly appeasing and quote pandering to one side.
That's the corporate nature of $1 million projects. That's just how it's gonna be. The world is changing.
Yeah, but what they're saying is that it shouldn't be like that just because.
Well, it shouldn't. It should never been like that in the beginning. No, I'm saying like, if for hundreds of years we've been pandering to the white male.
Yeah.
So I mean, westerns were made.
Yeah, but
for white men.
Here's the
agreed.
I agree.
And then over time, it has gradually.
Yeah.
And it should never been like that in the first place. Sure.
Yeah.
But like over time, they're gradually making changes to where it has been more open. Have been outside. There, like, of course, you had 1950s movies where white men were playing very cartoonistic versions of Asian people.
Yeah.
Right, which is extremely offensive. But back then, there really wasn't a gauge for offensiveness because nobody cared about other races or cultures, like feelings towards them.
Of course, white people are supreme. Like, that's obvious, right? Is that even a conversation?
Well, yes, it's not a conversation. It's obvious, all right?
Yeah.
So shut your mouth and listen to what I'm saying.
Oh, yes, master.
But over time, even in the 1960s, you had one of the first successful black directors.
Yeah.
You have
Don't you think it's weird? Don't you think it's weird that like we celebrate the first black, the first Asian, the first that's how dominating white culture has been, to where anytime there is a non-white person doing something for the first time, it's news. It's fucking news, because that's just how fucking dominating white people have been for most of modern history.
Mm-hmm. Scoreboard?
It's just
just kidding. It's so fucked up. Sorry. Scoreboard.
Well, I mean, to an extent, you're not wrong, because like, you know, like white people, they launched humanity into a level of modernity that's pretty unprecedented. But there's a lot that goes into that. But
you're welcome.
that statement alone, there's a lot to unpack in there.
Yeah.
I'm not a history expert or anything, but I'm just saying that's a very, very packed statement that I just said.
It's never one-sided. There's so many different parts.
No, because there's a reason why it's a snowball effect. There's a reason why white people have been in this position of dominance for so long, and technology is a big part of it. Natural disasters are a big part of it. And you could go back in history, and you can't. It's hard to pinpoint one moment that was pivotal in allowing like European-centric cultures, European-centric people to a state of technological advancement, of technological supremacy. Like, it's hard to pinpoint that, and I'm not a history expert.
Me neither.
Yeah.
But this is going to sound fucked up to say from me.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this in really a fucked up way.
Yeah.
I will say that it's a lucky thing that humans are relatively obviously we're well more advanced than other animals.
Yeah.
Right? You know, because of our frontal lobe, our brains.
The big brains.
We have the big brains.
Yes.
Very, very, very rigid. Or the average person, at least, you'd say. Relatively rigid.
Yeah.
Almost feel like a human koala or something. Koala brains are super
What
smooth.
are you talking about?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Because of our ability to,
brain it up.
Yeah, brain it up. Natural selection, if we were just like any other animals, like, there would only be white people on Earth.
What do you mean?
Natural selection says, right, like in the Darwinian idea of natural selection,
but like
survival of the fittest, only the strongest will survive type thing.
Wouldn't Wouldn't that mean that there would only be Middle Eastern people? Because that's where humanity started, in the Middle East.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So, like, you're saying if natural selection, you're saying if the big brain thing wasn't a thing and it was just natural selection with like human beings with no claws, no sharp teeth, like really fucking weak muscles, and like if it was just natural selection, like we would have just,
sorry, I think
we would have just died out in the Middle East. Like
No,
we wouldn't have even.
I guess what I'm not trying to get as the
What are you trying to say?
the empathy part.
What do you mean?
Not really. Hey, we're just not gonna just kill off things because they're not as strong as us, not as advanced as us. You know what? This is a conversation for some other time.
Yeah.
And I had a point in my head, and I guess I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
And without sounding really messed up, it was not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to invoke the conversation here that's completely strayed away from.
By the way, one thing I did want to say is that, like, with the way that society is moving now to be more inclusive, to try to, I guess, give people with different colored faces, different hair, different like eyes. These people that have traditionally not been a big part of the big screen or even the small screen, and including them more often, telling their story. That's good. Overcorrection is expected. That's just expected. And
what do you mean?
Overcorrection.
Yeah, what does that mean? What do you mean by overcorrection?
Like overcorrecting to like a diversity mindset.
Oh, you mean like, hey, this is the people we want that we're trying to like.
Yeah, I'm saying like
signal to.
Because that's why a lot of people complain, right? They say that like, oh, Little Mermaid, she's supposed to be white, or like well, that
kind of stuff. Something like that.
Yeah.
There's no real reason to be upset about. It's a cartoon, regardless.
Yeah, but like
could have been. She could have been in black to begin with.
The general feeling that there is too much diversity happening, that overcorrection should be expected because we're trying to figure out a way to in a more equitable way display what people want to see. And when I say people, I mean all people, not just white people. Like that's the way that society is moving towards. And if there's overcorrection, that's just how it is, right? For example, fucking Magneto and Professor X. Like Professor X, he wants mutants. They both want mutants to be not like shit on constantly. They want mutants to have proper human rights. Magneto overcorrects. And he's like, all right, let's kill all the humans, right?
Yeah.
Magneto overcorrects. And fucking Professor X, he's more more of a negotiation mindset. Yeah. But like when you have massive injustice and you're trying to address that massive injustice, you're going to have the guy that overcorrects. That's just part of it, part of how it is. Now, the alternative is let's not correct. Let's continue to treat mutants like garbage. That's not the answer. That's not the fucking answer. You want to be able to address the injustice. And in that part of that process, you're going to have people that go overboard.
Wait, what?
That's
Wasn't
just
the
how it is.
alternative always?
Yeah.
It wasn't the person who just does nothing.
Yeah.
The alternative was always Professor Xavier. He was the alternative. They were both the alternative to each other. You're saying there's a third party.
There's a third party that wants to fucking kill all the mutants. That's the whole reason Professor X and Magneto are doing their movement in the first place. There's a problem. The problem is people fucking hate mutants and people are shitting on the mutants. Now you have these two guys and they have two methods of addressing that problem.
Yeah.
So that problem exists and we should address that problem, right?
Yeah.
Now you have the one guy that overcorrects and you have the one guy that doesn't overcorrect, right? So when we bring it back to the real world and when we bring it back to diversity, like the opposite of diversity is like white supremacy, right? That's the problem. White supremacy in our dialogue, white supremacy in our media, that's how it's been for a long time. And now we are moving towards addressing it. Now you're going to have people that overcorrect. and you're gonna have people that are more like Professor X,
Yeah,
and you're gonna see that on the screen. And just because the guy that overcorrects, it doesn't mean we should go back to white supremacy.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have shows that go overboard with the overcorrection.
saying eventually we're gonna be in the
Eventually,
middle somewhere.
Eventually, it's gonna fucking normalize.
Yeah. We're gonna reach an equilibrium somewhere
Yeah. So because
sooner or later.
you can't. So like you can't say that because Magneto is so extreme and because his shows are so bad, therefore we should not have diversity like that. Therefore, even forget about Professor X because you're lumping them together.
No,
so like that's I feel like that's kind of where some of the dialogue goes, and I think that's really obtuse, and there's no nuance in that fucking conversation.
No,
Because there is a difference between Professor X and fucking Magneto. There is a difference, and just because Magneto's crazy, that doesn't mean Professor X is crazy. Does that make sense?
No, you as soon as you pulled the overcorrecting, like just because somebody is insane doesn't mean that's gonna be the same thing that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That will not doesn't mean it's gonna prevail.
Yeah.
Like over,
Also, I don't think like Professor X, like the whole X-Men analogy, that's an extreme analogy because like mutants' lives are at risk. But it's not an accurate analogy because no one's life is at risk right now. What we're talking about TV shows. We're talking about hiring less white people and more people that are of color. That's what we're talking about. It's not a life or death issue. It's fucking Hollywood.
No, it's not a life. No, but the concept's there because it may not be a life, but it is an idea.
Yeah.
An idea is at risk.
Yes.
That's the life at risk. It's an idea that's at risk. That's it. But yes, you make 100% perfect sense. And actually, I'm not going to lie, that's opened my eyes a little more to the idea.
Okay.
So while I won't support these things that are just blatantly there, I'm just going to not watch it. Not a big deal. Doesn't hurt me not to watch it.
All right. Yeah.
Doesn't hurt people that I don't watch it.
It also doesn't hurt me to
watch it.
To watch.
As well. But it's like, okay, I just won't watch it. Doesn't hurt me not to or to watch it. I just choose not to watch it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, this isn't something that I would like to enjoy, not because of its blatant thing, because maybe it is a part of that.
Yeah.
But also maybe the show just sucks.
Maybe they should release a Star Wars show where there are no humans and it's just aliens. And they can't get mad about that.
No, they can't.
Because they're all just aliens. No humans.
Try to make a porno out of this one. Pornhub or something. we came off topic so hard. That's my fault. My fault.
I wanted to have that conversation. I think it's a really important conversation because like that's kind of the dialogue of Star Wars at this current time. A lot of people are mad about like the whole diversity angle that Star Wars has been going at, and I think they're stupid. Personally, I think they're stupid. Just get over it. Just get over it. That's not a good reason to shit on a show. A show is good, or the show is bad because of direction, the script, acting, production design, like all things that
make a show.
Make a show. Like it's like who cares if there's no white people? Like who cares? Like yeah. Go watch an international movie. Fucking educate yourself.
Go watch
Fuck.
You're asking a lot for
a movie,
white America.
A movie based in like Nigeria or something. Like there are no white people in this movie. Really, that's really crazy. Or like a one that's like made in China. Why there are no white people in this movie? Anyway, there's also the whole corporate angle, where the whole like political angle of where they need to be politically correct and satisfy their shareholders, and like that is also tied into the culture of today. Seems like that stuff will always be there though, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Unless if you shot the president. I'm just kidding.
I think it's wild that so much shit has been going on this past month.
It's insane.
Yep, it's wild. But that's just the world we live in now, and it is what it is.
Whatever. I mean, hey, let's
wrap up. All right, so
we don't have to wrap up. We can keep talking. Unless you want to wrap up, I don't care.
Oh, what do you say?
I'll have my cake and eat it too.
We
Wrap
yeah,
up
we-
or keep
we
going.
could
I don't
keep
care.
going. We can make
What,
this
you,
fucking.
what else do you want to talk about?
2-hour episode.
Has it been 2 hours?
It's been an hour and 30.
Ooh, okay, maybe probably wrap it up then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I don't know. What is there anything that you wanted to touch on?
No, I mean,
Yeah.
not for this series. No.
No,
right.
okay. Last thing I want to say, and I've already said it 3 times.
Yeah,
it's
let it
just
out.
The nostalgia. Everyone thrives off nostalgia. They love it. The member berries, right? That's why. That's why.
Member berries.
That's the South Park says everything perfectly in plain English sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, this is what we're thriving now. There's been very, very few
Yeah.
original ideas that come out. And, but something like this is different because
Yeah.
this isn't a movie that animation that just came out.
Yeah.
It's something that came from the past that unlocked a core memory.
Hmm.
Maybe I haven't seen it, but it reminded me of some other stuff. And that's what I love. I love something that reminds me, like, wow, I saw this movie a long time ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm just watching it, not because of it's good or bad, but because it just brings me back somewhere.
Hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with this nostalgia, as long as the nostalgia is
I love
positive.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like 85% of the reason I go to the theater, because I watched the original version when I was like 10 years old.
Yeah, and that's why I watch The Lord of the Rings every year. When one of my students asked me, what do you think is the best movie franchise ever? And I said, easily Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's easily Lord of the Rings without a doubt.
Don't think about Rings of Power. Don't think about The Hobbit.
Nope.
Just Lord of the Rings.
just Lord of the Rings, exactly. The trilogy,
Yeah.
right? The OG logy.
By the way, if we apply those same rules, I would say the Bourne trilogy is also really, really good. Really good.
Never seen it.
You should check it. Oh my god. Wow.
Even the Jeremy
You should
Renner one's
check it
good. The Bourne Legacy.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't bad. I'm not gonna say it was bad.
I don't like how they made it into like a genetic superiority thing where
Yeah.
they get injected with some serum or some shit goes on.
Super soldier serum.
Yeah, no, I thought that was dumb, to be honest. That kind of takes away the coolness of the fucking Bourne.
No,
trilogy.
it just makes this one dude. No, like Jason Bourne is he is just an anomaly. That's it. That was cool about it. Yes.
Jason Bourne is, if you haven't seen it, but you've probably heard of it, and you probably heard about like how bad it has. It's more grounded than you think.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very grounded film. It's a very serious film, or film series trilogy. The first one, I think, is it sets up the concept really well, but the movie is not as good as 2 and 3. You should watch it.
It's hard for me to. There's been a few times.
Is it a Matt Damon thing? Is it?
Partially. So
Oh no!
I think it's just because
Yeah.
Are you still mad that he bought a zoo?
I haven't seen that movie.
I haven't seen that movie. No,
I think it's funny that movie exists, though.
I think what's
Yeah.
really turned. I like Matt Damon.
Yeah.
It's not he's not the Jake Gyllenhaal effect.
right, okay.
But I think I see him
Yeah.
almost in a different light because I've seen Downsizing.
I like that movie.
I don't like that
It was
movie.
funny.
I watched clips of it, and I don't think it's for me.
I watched
That was funny.
Downsizing. I've seen his cryptocurrency commercial.
Oh yeah, I forgot he
Um,
did that. Wow.
Yeah, he really finessed
and-
the world.
There was also I've seen
Yeah.
trailers for that movie where he's like some dad going to Europe trying to find his daughter.
What?
He's basically like some country bumpkin going to Europe and like, where's my daughter? And I'm just like, dude,
All right.
You should watch the movie Promised Land.
which one's that one?
It's about he works for an oil company who's trying to get people to frack.
Oh.
Like he works with a company trying to get these like northwestern, like these midwestern homes, like I'd say like like Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, into like selling their land to these companies. And teaching them, and he learns the right way.
Fracking's bad.
Yeah.
Fracking's bad.
But he's like
okay.
pro, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Thank You for Smoking,
Mm.
which is an okay movie.
What's next on the docket?
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you guys keep up with like the comments and whatnot, but Scholes commented on our last YouTube video. And he requested 2 movies actually. I don't remember one of them, but I do remember.
Requests.
Yeah, he requested that we do Long Legs.
Long Legs. I want to see that so bad.
He requested that we do Long Legs. He also requested this other movie, but I don't remember what it was. But I do remember Long Legs because I also want to watch Long Legs, and I think it's another barbarian style thriller, creepy style. Fucking, it's FBI agent, and there's some shady Silence of the Lambs shit going on. I feel like that's the vibe I get from watching the trailer. I did watch the trailer. So Long Legs, I don't know. Is it on streaming? Or?
No. I think it's just out in theaters right now.
Fuck.
I think it literally just came out like a week ago.
All right, we'll shoot for Long Legs. If it's too annoying to watch, then we'll
I'm super down.
I'll text you guys and we'll change it up. But I would like to do Long Legs.
$1,000,000% down to see a new movie, especially because I was actually not gonna lie. It seemed okay. It's probably horror, right? It's probably
like a thriller.
It's probably more than that, I'd say, but it looks pretty. Very dense.
It's not a kids movie,
no,
for sure.
Well, yeah,
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hairy,
but yeah, we'll do Long Legs.
Long Legs, it is.
Long Legs. We'll see you guys later. Thanks, Shoals.
Yeah, thanks, Shoals.
Flick.